What's up, guys? It's Reese. Welcome to AusHoopers TV. Something different for you guys. We're going to be breaking down the NBA mock draft and who I think is going to go. It's pretty much our mock draft. I know it doesn't really make sense as we're an Australian basketball page, but our guys, Johnny Furphy's in the draft. We've got NBL players like Bobby Klintman, AJ Johnson, Roops DeVicious, Alex Sarr, Trenton Flowers in the draft as well. There's other Aussies in it. So we're going to make more videos like this. We're going to do game breakdowns, reactions, post-game, tournament, Olympics, sort of stuff like that. And we're going to kind of react. For example, the next video is going to be the Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey breakdown, the trade breakdown. Obviously, there's been a lot of mixed reviews about that trade. We're going to kind of break that down in our next video for you guys about our guy Josh Giddey being traded to the Chicago Bulls. We're going to post the clips on TikTok. We're going to post it to our Spotify as well, so make sure you guys are following us on all the platforms you can. And let's get straight into it. We're filming this on Tuesday, 2 days before the draft. I don't like to do it too many weeks back from the draft because a lot of things change, a lot of rumors come out. For example, Hawks switching from Sarr to Risa Shea or Klingon. It kind of throws your whole draft off. So I think this kind of date is the best day to do a mock draft. You kind of get a little bit of insight to what teams are going to do. And yeah, we'll get straight into it. Alrighty, guys, we are going to dive straight into it. I've got my picks up here because I had to pre-think about what I was going to do here. I kind of didn't want to make it up on the spot. I've been through a lot of mock drafts, like a lot of you probably have as well. I'm doing this on Fanspo. Fanspo is a mock draft simulator website. They do trades and stuff as well. It's a good website. A lot of the people that do mock drafts do it through Fanspo. So go check it out if you haven't already. We're going to go with the ESPN big board that just is on the left when you're picking the draft prospects, the actual lottery pick order. And yeah, let's get straight to it. All right, so with the first pick, the Atlanta Hawks. Crazy that they got the first pick. As you can see by my hat, I am a Wizards fan, and I heard some stupid stat that we had about a 90% chance to get it over them in the last two picks, and they still got it. But looking at their team down here on the bottom right, I like the layout of this team. I don't think they have any weak points, although they didn't make the playoffs this year. You could argue that. But Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, love the backcourt combo there. I love the wings they have in Saddiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter, and Jalen Johnson. They also got AJ Griffin, who had a good season last year. Obviously didn't get many minutes this year. And then obviously you got Capella and Okongwu, who's still young, fighting for minutes. Kobe Bufkin was drafted last year by them as well, who's a point guard. But other than that, this team doesn't really have much. Bruno Fernando was good in moments this year, but everyone else on this team is pretty much expendable. So Alex Sarr has been the number one pick. I don't really like the fit here. If they're going to move Capella, I mean, maybe, but even then, they're still fighting for minutes with Okongwu. Jalen Johnson was just an MIP candidate. So personally, I think DeAndre Hunter took a step back this year. I know Saddiq Bey is pretty good, but I think he's a good piece off the bench. I mean, you could probably package them for a trade. I think Risa Shea is a pick here. I think a good wing in this league is really good if you can get them. I mean, you look at the last finals MVPs, you've had Iguodala when the Warriors won, you have Kawhi when the Raptors won, you have Giannis, LeBron, Durant, you just had Jaylen Brown who was playing the three, Derek White and Drew Holiday were the guards. So I think if you hit on a good wing with the number one pick, I think that's the way to go. I like his shot creation, I love the size that he has. I question his shot creating. I like his shot, I like the size he has. But I think he's pretty good, and from what I'm hearing, he is levels above everyone in this class. There's a lot of people that are a bit iffy on him. There's a lot of people that watch every French game and say that he's a little bit, he doesn't really have that X factor about him, but from my experience and who I've talked to that have seen him, they say he's levels above everyone here. So I think Zachary Risa Shea is a great pick. I think it's what the Hawks want. If you move Trae Young and Murray, even if you just move Trae Young, I think Murray, Bogdanovic, Risa Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu is a good step forward and a good supporting cast to the number one pick. So I'm going to go Zachary Risa Shea with the first pick. Now the Wizards, Alex Sarr with the second pick. I love this fit for them. If they're going to keep Tyus Jones, he is a free agent, but I think Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Avdija Kuzma, Sarr is a really good team for Alex Sarr to start on. I like the foundation the Wizards are building. I like Kispert and Coulibaly off the bench. I even like Jared Butler off the bench. Good starting spot for Alex Sarr, and the way that the league is moving, they've got him here at 6'11". I could have sworn he was 7 foot. But the way the league's moving, I know that it says power forward here, but I think Alex Sarr is a perfect 5 with the way the league is headed. And I don't think there's a better place. Wizards were, I think, top 5 in transition last year. So Alex Sarr can move. He can defend 3 through to 5. He can shoot. He can space the floor. He's fast for a big. He's great at shot blocking. And I think he slots straight into the starting center position. And Bagley can come off the bench for him. They also have the 26 pick, so they can look to get another big man there or a point guard. They don't really have a backup point guard other than Jared Butler at the moment and Johnny Davis, who we know isn't that great. Third pick. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Houston Rockets. A lot of people have Klingon and Shepherd here. I'm going to go a little bit different. Now, if you look at their lineup, Steven Adams, Jock Landau, Şengün. I love that depth at the big man. Obviously, Şengün starts. Love Jabari Smith at the 4. I think he's a good player. I think he does the right things and he knows how to win. They've got, obviously, a bit of depth at the 2-3 here. Cam Whitmore, Armin Thompson, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, who was very good for them last year. They are lacking a bit of 1. I think they thought Armin Thompson was going to be a 1, but he plays better being the screener in a pick and roll, and I really like him at the 2-3, and I think eventually he will start for them. They might not keep Adams. I can see them packaging him for something, so Klingon could be a good pick here if they're high on him, like the top teams are. But I've got them going with someone that fits their long-term plan. They don't really have a point guard. Fred VanVleet is, and he didn't play too bad for them last year, but I think in the long run, I'm going to go with a pretty risky pick here, and it could backfire, and this could look pretty stupid, but I'm going to go Rob Dillingham. I like this pick here for them. Has superstar written all over him. He is 6'1". He is undersized. He doesn't weigh much, so he could get bullied around, but I think with the defensive... sorry, I'll undo that so you can see them again. With the defensive talent around him, I don't mind the Rob Dillingham, Jalen Green, Armin Thompson, Jabari Smith, and then Şengün lineup at all. And I think this team needs some scoring. I think Jalen Green's there, but I think an extra piece to score. This guy shot 40% from deep last year, 15 points a game. I think he's a Houston-type player, and I think if they keep this pick, not sure if they will, I think this is the pick for them. I like it. Now, Reed Shepherd was there. I'm not too sold on him, and I'm also not too sold on him going 4th. Not too sure what I don't see in him. It's just not catching my eye. But 4th here, the Spurs. They could go Stephon Castle here, I think, because they need a bit of backcourt depth. But with Wembanyama here, I think they can do something crazy and pair up Klingon with Wembanyama. 7'2" Klingon. It is a bit of an iffy fit because Wemby was playing his best basketball at the center last season, but I think if you can move Wemby to the 4, you can see that he's step back threes, he's playing at the free throw, he's beating guys off dribble. I think he's just going to get better at that. He's fast, Wembanyama. I think if you have Wembanyama sort of guarding at that, low key, at the free throw even, denying passes, denying key entries, he can guard almost the 2 to the 5. And having Klingon under the rim, if Wembanyama's, beating guys off dribble off the 3, shooting 3, he can space the floor. If Wembanyama's getting to the rim, and this guy's getting no boards or he's a lob threat, I think that could be pretty special. I mean, you could run this lineup they have here. At the moment, they've also got the 8th pick, so they can try and get a guard there. There will be guards available. Or you try and get like a Trae Young this offseason. I think Donovan Klingon in the long run could be a great backup 5, or the pure 5, depending on how he develops. But a lot of people are high on Klingon. I don't see him falling below 4. So I think the Spurs get a big man and get the Twin Towers here at the 4th pick, and I'd be really happy if I was a Spurs supporter with this pick. Now the 5th pick. This is a pretty quick one for me. I know Reed Shepherd's still on the board, but I think there's a guy ready to slot straight into Pistons lineup. Pistons should be ready to attack the 10th position next year. They've done a lot of losing lately. Hopefully a healthy season, and I think there's a position that they need to fill, and it's the 4 spot. I think if they run Cunningham, Ivy, or Sar Thompson, you draft a guy like Buzelis, who brings offense, he brings versatility, he can shoot. We saw what he did in the All-Star break. This guy can play. There's obviously inconsistencies with his shooting, a bit of worrying with his shooting, but I think I like Buzelis as an option. I think he has one of the better upsides in this draft. And then you've got Duren at the 5. So off the bench, you got Sasser. Off the bench, you got Wiseman. Off the bench, you got Isaiah Stewart. I like Jared Rhoden as well. Pistons fans, he looks pretty good towards the end of the season. He's low-key. But Buzelis, I like him. Slot him straight into the power forward starting position. Throw him in the deep end. And Pistons should be ready to go. You've got, year 3 Ivy, year 4 Cade. I know he missed one season because of injury. Year 2 All-Star Thompson. It's time to go. It's time to go Detroit. Let's do it. I like that pick. All right, pick 6, the Hornets. Oh, the Hornets. This team isn't very good. But I think a lot of people seem to forget that LaMelo Ball, in my opinion, is better than Halliburton. I'm sure Hornets fans believe that. I'm sure there's other people that believe that. I'm sure there's other people that think I'm pretty stupid. But I think in a good situation, LaMelo Ball is an insane player, and I think he's an MVP candidate when healthy. We saw it early one season that he was putting up almost triple-double numbers. So I think with a good support cast, we saw Miles Bridges come back last year through adversity, balled out. Brendan Miller, great rookie year. Mark Williams had a great year last year as well. I think he had 20 and 20 on my Wizards in one game. I think this team needs a winner. I think they need a 2. I think Brendan Miller is, let me check. Brendan Miller is 6'7", 6'9". Easily move him to the 3. Bridges is a great 4. Let's go get a 2-man that likes to win, that's going to bring defense and a bit of grit to this team. It's not Reed Shepherd, unfortunately. It's going to be Stephon Castle. And if I get him at 6 as a Charlotte Hornet, coming off a national championship, I like his passing ability. I know he only averaged 3, but I like the vision. I like his hustle. I love the defense. And I think he can score, and I think he is a 2. I know there's going around saying that he wants to be a pure guard and he doesn't want to go to a team with a point guard. I think this is a great spot for him. And I like him at the 2 spot, sort of as a Marcus Smart type player. Obviously with a bit more versatility on the offensive end. Now, Portland have their first pick at 7. This is an interesting pick because they've kind of loaded with guards, but I kind of imagine Sharp kind of slotting in at this 3. And they kind of run this Scoot, Anthony, Sharp, Grant, Ayton. If they're going to keep this squad, maybe they move Grant. But they've got a lot of good pieces. They've still got Brogdon who they can move for something. Banton had a great year. Banton had a great year last year to finish the season. They've still got Thibault, one of the better defenders in the league. I think he led them in steals. Kamara had a great rookie season. They've still got Rob Williams, who's an insane pickup. They've got Duop Reith, who had a good year. They've got a lot of pieces here. So I do think they attack best player on the board. I wouldn't mind them getting a 3, but I don't mind that Sharp Thibault 3 off the bench. I think there's a spot at the backup 2 position here for them if they move Brogdon. And that's going to be Reed Shepherd. Had a great draft combine. Shoots fantastic from the 3. This guy blew up over 1 year. Wasn't that known 2 years ago? Had a great year at Kentucky. Has a lot of upside. And I can see him playing like an Austin Reeves role. So I like that pick for Portland. Has time to develop. Doesn't need to start straight away. Will come on and do the right things for them. They have another pick at 14, Portland. All right, with this pick with the Spurs, they took Klingon with 4. They've got the 8th pick. I like Dalton Connect here. I do. But I've got them going with a bit of an out there pick. I haven't seen him mocked here very often. But I have heard rumors of Keldon Johnson moving. He came off the bench last year in some games. So I'm going with Ron Holland here. He was projected first in a lot of mock drafts to start the season. He's a little bit undersized for a 3, but I love his explosiveness. His shot's a little bit off, but I think that can be worked on. And I think he's going to bring a winning culture to San Antonio. I think you can start him at the 3 or bring him off the bench for Keldon, however you want to play it. I know they need backcourt depth, but I think they're going to attack a point guard. I don't think anyone in this class is the point guard of the future for them. So that's how I'd be looking at it for San Antonio. I think Ron Holland can be a future starting 3, and I think he's going to be really good. So I love this pick for them. You get a backup or a pure 5, and you look at Trey Jones, Vassell, Ron Holland, Wemby, Klingon, and I like that young lineup for San Antonio. Alrighty, with the 9th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies. These guys are going to be attacking a championship next season. They've got a pretty stacked squad. They are missing a 5-man. Jaren Jackson isn't really cutting it for me, and I think Klingon would be a perfect spot for the Memphis Grizzlies. But I think these guys have all the tools they need, and they actually do need to make a few changes, but I think they have the right squad to make a push in the West, the deep West. But I like Dalton Connect here, and he might be the obvious choice. But I think they need to address the big man position. There are a few good bigs on this. Kyle Filipowski wouldn't be bad. Yves Misi wouldn't be bad. Kel'el Ware wouldn't be bad. And I think he would be a decent pick here at 9. But I've actually got them going with controversial pick Zach Edey. This guy is dominant. A lot of people don't like him because he won't be able to move his feet. I think he moves pretty well for the size he has and the strength he has. The numbers he puts up in college are insane. 25 points, 12 boards. I don't think he can go past it. He's 7'3", and I think they're going to be able to work it out. I think Taylor Jenkins will be able to figure it out with the Jaren Jackson kind of sliding to the 4. I think they're defensive. The only problem is that people could see is that he's clogging the lane when Ja Morant drives. I don't see that at all. I think Ja Morant is a fantastic passer, and I think the handoff, the wraparound under the rim to Zach Edey, the lobs to Zach Edey, who's 7'3", he's just going to be pretty much be able to put his arms up and put it in the rim. I think this covers their 5-man spot. We've seen him play in the national championship team for Canada. I don't know if he's playing this year for the Olympics. I might need to search that up, but that's also good experience for him. And I think as in 3 years' time, if he can figure it out, he can move his feet, he can develop a jump shot. Big problem. Don't mind this pick for Memphis. He can slot straight in and play that starting 5 slot for them. Moves Jaren back to the 4. Brandon Clark can come off the bench, coming off an injury. And I think they're going to be able to figure it out. I think this is a great pick for Memphis. Obviously, a bit of a controversial one. I haven't seen him mocked 9th in any mock draft yet in my recent viewing, so I like that pick for Memphis. Alrighty, Utah here with the 10th pick. This is a good pick for them, I think. I still like their young core. I know there's word that Colin Sexton could be on the move, but I think this is a pretty easy pick for me. I don't mind the Cody Williams fit here. I think he slots straight into the 3 position. I know they were playing Laurie a bit at the 3 last year, but I do think he's better off at the 4. I think Keontae George, if they're going to move Sexton, Keontae George to the 2. They could bring Sexton off the bench eventually. I don't mind him as a 6-man sort of role off the point guard, but I think they go with a projected top 2 pick before his injury here with Nikola Topic, 6'5" guard. Love his vision, love his feel for the game. I like the look of his shot. I think he shoots it decently well. Already been in the pro leagues. I think this is an easy pick for Utah. Love the Markin and Topic duo. Good pick for Utah, and I like his fit in Utah. Doesn't need to rush his injury. Keontae can play the 1 in the meantime and still get his feel for being a combo guard. And this team will be decently alright without him until he comes back, and then he's got a great foundation around him to be good. Love this pick for Nikola Topic. Bulls with 11th. This one's pretty interesting as well. I've seen a few people draft Isaiah Collier with this pick. I hate that for them, to be honest. Even with the Giddey trade that Caruso, is gone now, so ignore this. But I think Giddey's going to play the 2, even though I thought he would have been better on a team like Washington. Maybe Chicago flip him. Who knows? But I heard a lot of people. I will get into the Giddey trade, so I'm not going to talk about that too much here. But I think that Giddey trade tells me that Levine and DeMar, or one of them is gone, or both. So I like the Kobe White Giddey sort of duo there, I guess. Lonzo Ball's coming back. They got a lot of guard depth. I'm not taking a guard here. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to take an upside pick here and take J-Dub's little brother, Cody Williams, who was, I think, projected about top 5 in high school. He's got a lot of upside. Looks like he can shoot. Love the size. Can rim run. This guy's got him projected 3 here. 11 points per game at Colorado. We're going to take Cody Williams, and he's going to start at the 3 for Chicago next season. Oklahoma City with the 12th pick. Obviously, they moved Giddey for Caruso. I thought this pick might have been put in the trade as well because people like those, Josh Harts, your Carusos, your Derek Whites that can win you basketball. Maybe that was put in that trade, but it wasn't, which I think is fair. I think Giddey's he's 21. He's had 3 years in the league. He's putting up triple doubles. Fair trade in my opinion, but with this pick, I'm going to go best available player and a guy that can help him straight away, and that's Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. One of the best scorers in this draft. One of the best shooters in the draft, if not the best. 21 points a game at Tennessee, 6'5", can come off the bench and get scoring for them. They were running Isaiah Joe last year. Obviously, they couldn't play Giddey in the playoffs because they lacked a bit of shooting and a bit of spacing. I think this guy fits in well, and I think he's going to make an instant impact. Love this pick for them. Big fan of Dalton Connect's game. With the 13th pick, this is a bit of an interesting one. I think the Kings, with bringing Monk back, they're going to be in instant win now mode. I think they're going to try and bring in a guy like Zach LaVine. I think they're going to try and sign someone massive. It's a bit of an iffy situation. Obviously, look, they don't have big man depth. I mean, Sabonis is the 5, Murray's the 4, Barnes is the 3. You've got not really a backup 3. I guess Herter and Keon Ellis was playing good minutes, I guess, in the play-in. Davion Mitchell, I'm still a big fan of. I still believe in. I think they might move this pick to Washington for Kuzma, along with this pick, Mitchell, Herter for Kuzma, which wouldn't be too bad for them. I mean, Kuzma and Murray at the forwards, Sabonis, maybe that's the superstar they get. But if Sacramento are keeping this pick, a lot of people have Jared McCain here. A lot of people have Devin Carter here to back up that one. I'm going to go get a backup forward that is certified and that can win now for them, and I think fits their timeline, and that's going to be Tristan da Silva out of Colorado. 16 points per game. Gives me Franz Wagner vibes. Maybe I haven't watched too much tape of him, but I like this pick for them. They've got him projected at 17. I think Kings take him here at 13, and they don't take a risk on another guard to clog the backcourt who's not going to get many minutes over De'Aaron Fox. Let's be real. So Tristan da Silva here, backup 3. I like this pick for Sacramento as well. Now, 14th pick for Portland. I think they can go with an upside pick here. So there is still Devin Carter on the board, but I'm going to go with the best player available, and that's Tidjane Salaün. Tidjane Salaün out of France. 6'10". This guy, up with Mattis Buzelis, also has very high upside. Also has along with the upside, there's also downside. So with Buzelis, with Salaün, I think there could be a very high risk, high reward, or high risk, high reward pick. But I think this guy shows a lot of talent. 6'8", can shoot the 3 ball. Very, very good in transition. I like this pick for Portland, and he can take their time. They've kind of got all the positions covered. Play him in the G League maybe. Like this pick for Portland, Tidjane Salaün. Alrighty, with the 15th pick, the Miami Heat. This is an interesting one. There is a lot of mock drafts that have them trading this pick, but I like the fit here for the guy I'm about to select. They don't have any backup bigs behind Bam Adebayo. I like the Nikola Jovic, sort of Kevin Love here with Caleb Martin at the 4 as well. I like the Jimmy Butler, Duncan Hawkes. I like Tyler Hero and Jay Rich. I like Terry Rozier. I'm a huge DeLon Wright fan. He was previously on the Wizards. Love his defense. So I'm just looking at the depth here. I think they take a need, as they're going to be attacking a championship and attacking coming out of the East next year as well. And the best big available, in my opinion, is Kyle Filipowski. We saw what D-Live did out of Duke last year. I think this guy's going to be ready to go. He can shoot, 6'10", can rebound very well, 20 years old. Kyle Filipowski's the pick here for Miami, and I think he could be good off the bench for them. Doesn't really have Miami Heat player written all over them, but they're good at developing young talent, and I think they're going to get a good backup here. And I mean, Bam can sort of slide to the 4 and play him at the 5 as well at points, but I doubt it. Don't mind that pick for Miami. I think he'll be a big piece for them next year. Philly. This is an interesting pick. It really depends where you want to go. They don't have much depth at the big man position. They don't have much depth at the 4. Their forwards are questionable. I mean, they've got point guards. Lowry's about 38 now. Campaign is having trouble off the court. I think he's been arrested for something, if I read that correctly. D'Anthony Melton didn't play in the playoffs. I'm not sure if he was injured. That was a little bit of a question mark to me. Buddy Hield was almost unplayable in the playoffs as well, up until that big game he had. So they have a lot of open spots to draft here. And I have them taking a bit of an iffy pick. I mean, Devin Carter seems like the right pick here. They could go scoring with Jacoby Walter. But I've got them taking Isaiah Collier out of USC. I think, like I said before, with Buzelis and Salaün, I think this guy has one of those upside picks. His shooting's a little bit off, but he has great vision, great feel for the game. He can score very well. And like Rob Dillingham and like Cody Williams, he was one of these guys that was highly rated in high school. So I like this pick for them. I know they've got Maxey. Maxey can sort of slide to the 2, but I like this guy to back up the 1. Lowry's near the end of his career, and Campaign's having problems. I like this guy as a backup bench piece to bring a spark off the bench for Philly. And that Maxey Collier sort of backcourt could be insane for Philly. So I like this pick for them. They have a 41st and 49th pick as well, which they might be able to grab someone else, some more bench pieces, but don't mind this pick for Philly. They also are looking to get Paul George this offseason, so don't mind a backup spark. All right, 17th pick for the Lakers. This could be Bronny. But I don't think it's going to be. I mean, you can't waste a 17th pick, especially when you're in the position of the Lakers, where they just got 4-1'd in the first round by a team that lost in the second round. I think they got, what did they get? Yeah, they got 4-2'd, the Nuggets. Well, no, they lost in the game 7. They got 4-3'd. So they lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they need to take whoever the best player on the board is. Gabe Vincent, non-existent. D'Angelo Russell, is he your point guard? I guess. Austin Reeves was pretty good in the playoffs. No backup 2s here, worth keeping. LeBron with no backup 3s here. You got Rui. I mean, Prince is a backup 3, I guess. Vanderbilt didn't really play much in the playoffs. Injured. Christian Wood, couldn't play him. Anthony Davis, and then these guys almost unplayable as well. Jackson Hayes, Harry Giles, Castleton. So you're pretty much just going for whoever you can get. I don't mind the Jacoby Walter pick. I don't mind Jared McCain, but I think Russell, Vincent, and Dinwiddie, I guess, is probably the most depth you have in a position here. So I've got them taking Devin Carter as a backup 2 for Reeves. He can also play the 1. This guy has, winner written all over him, in my opinion. He's going to be a big piece for them. 8.7 rebounds for a 6'2" guard. Love that. 20 points per game. He can score at good efficiency. He is a junior. He's been playing college for a while. Like this pick for Devin Carter. Like this pick for Lakers and Devin Carter. And I think he can make an impact on the Lakers. And the Lakers should save the Bronny pick for 56 unless they want to trade up in the second. I don't think they shouldn't be worried about Bronny going earlier than that unless some team is trying to persuade LeBron to move. I don't think that's a problem. Take Devin Carter and let's get some depth on the Lakers. Now, 18th pick, Magic. A lot of people have Jacoby Walter mocked here. I am a huge fan of Jacoby Walter's game. I like the way he shoots. I think he can be a great scorer in this league. I'm just not sure if Anthony Black can be a good backup 1. I'm presuming they move Fultz. It's going to be Cole Anthony. It's going to be Suggs at the 1 realistically, and then Cole Anthony Black as a backup 2. So they're going to bring in a guy that I think is going to sell some tickets. I think he's a household name. I think he performed in March Madness really well as a freshman for Duke, shot the ball well, and I think he's going to bring an effect to the Orlando Magic that I don't think they have at the moment. I just think they need more scoring. They need more impact, and I think Jared McCain's going to bring it. I think he's going to be really good in this league, and I think his superstar potential is higher than everyone remaining. So I like this pick. I know Magic are sick of taking point guards. I don't really think he's a point guard. I could be wrong in that sense. I think he's a 2. I think he guards well, shot the ball crazy. I think he had 7-8 threes in that one game in March Madness. Love this pick for the Magic. Brings a little bit of shooting, brings spacing. They need that. Jared McCain to Orlando. 19th pick, Toronto. Now, they can go either way with this pick. There's a lot of dudes here. I really contemplated taking Jacoby Walter here. He's sliding down my board. He's 14th. We're currently at the 19th pick. He's a very good player. There isn't really a reason why he's sliding down my board, to be honest, but I don't know my mind is telling me Yves Missi goes here. I don't know what it is. Obviously, his stats weren't fantastic. He was a freshman, but he gives me sort of Mobley vibes. I don't know what it is. I think it might be the length. It might be the play style. I'm not saying he's going to be Mobley level, but I don't mind him here. I don't think Jakob Poeltl is in the question for them long term. I don't mind this fit next to Scotty Barnes at the 4, and I think he has a lot of potential to be good. Long-term center for them. Grab Yves Missi. Don't mind the pick at all. Now, next pick, 20, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they've been pretty disappointing. They're going to extend Donovan Mitchell, apparently. Darius Garland could be on the move. Jared Allen's in trade talks as well. Even with Washington, I've been hearing, and a few other teams, but I think I'm going to go back up big for them. Georges Niang needs to get off this team. I don't know if anyone watched that Cavs Magic series. This dude does not look like a basketball player. Maybe 3 years ago in Philly, but Not anymore. They need to get rid of him as quick as they can. And I've got them taking a backup big. And this guy has a lot of potential. Kel'el Ware can shoot the ball, can space, 10 rebounds a game, 58%. Good measurements for a big. I like this pick for them. Spaces the floor. If Jared Allen, is clogging the paint a little bit, you can bring on Kel'el Ware. And I like his fit next to Mobley as well. Maybe trade Garland, not too sure. Don't mind a backup point guard here for them. If they were to go to Tyler Kolek or Bub Carrington here, wouldn't surprise me. But in my opinion, these backup bigs aren't cutting it for me. Let's go get a backup big that can come on and be an impact and a threat. I like this pick, Kel'el Ware. All right, pick 21, the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, they've got our guy Dyson Daniels here. I actually like this team a lot as it is. I think a big thing for them. I liked Larry Nance off the bench for them last year. I thought he played better than Valanciunas at points in the Thunder series. Obviously, Zion got injured. That would have made that series a little bit more entertaining. I actually picked New Orleans to beat them when healthy. I don't mind Terrence Shannon here at all. He's actually one of my favorite prospects in this draft. I think he has insane value here at the 20 range, but I've got them finally taking Jacoby Walter. I think this is the right spot for him. Jordan Hawkins is off the bench. I think they're a little bit iffy about his defense. He can shoot the ball, but I think this guy does a bit of both. Defense, shooting, can score at all three levels. I think this is a good pick for them. Loved his season at Baylor from what I watched. And I think this is great value for Jacoby Walter. I think it's great value to get him at 18 for Orlando. If you get him at 21, the Pelicans are cheering. Good pick. Okay, let's look at the board real quick after 21 picks. Love this so far. Obviously, the Dillingham one's a little bit controversial, but everything else is a good fit in my opinion. Maybe I'm drafting too much on team needs. I know there's going to be picks where it's just like, I don't know, Isaiah Collier to the Bulls or Jared McCain to the Bulls when they got Kobe White and Giddey. Maybe Alex Sarr goes first. Maybe I'm completely wrong off the rip, but don't mind how this draft's falling at the moment. Suns, this is a big pick for them, and I think they need to address the point guard spot. Don't mind Beal there, but I think they need a facilitator. Even if they start Beal at the one still, or Beal or Booker, whoever it is, I still think they go get a pure point guard. Gives me Brunson vibes, this guy. Love his film tape. 15 points per game. Knows how to pass the ball with 7.7 assists in college. That's insane numbers. 6'1", a little bit undersized, but don't think that matters with the scoring around him. This is a great spot for Tyler Kolek to go and develop. And I think he needs to make an impact off the bench or straight away for them. Don't mind this pick for them. Go get a point guard who knows how to construct offense. Obviously, you need a little bit more backup at the forward positions, but Tyler Kolek's the right pick here. There is Bub Carrington. Just a bit unsure if he's sort of like the pure point guard that they're looking for. I think he's more of a scorer. They've got enough scoring. I think Tyler Kolek's the right pick here. He'd be better. Bub Carrington might turn out to be better, but I think Tyler Kolek in this role will be better. Bucks. The Bucks. This is an interesting one. Johnny Furphy, our guy, is the best player on the board apparently. I've got them going with a backup forward here. They've got Patrick Beverley. They've kind of got Malik Beasley here. They'll probably move him to my assumption. He was pretty average last season. They've got Beauchamp, Middleton here. They've got Giannis. Bobby Portis is a backup 5. I think they need to address the backup bigs. I mean, if one of these guys goes down with a season-ending injury, they are pretty much screwed next season. So go get a backup big. Dayron Holmes isn't a bad pick here, but I've got them going with someone that can spread the floor a bit. I've got them going Tyler Smith out of the G League Ignite. Like this player. I've heard only good things about him. Watched a few G League Ignite games, obviously, when they played Perth. I went to a game live. I think I went to 2 games live, actually. Don't mind this fit at all for them. Space the floor. Hella athletic. Can dunk the hell out of it. And great shooting form as well. Think he can play small ball 5 at 6'9". Love this pick from Milwaukee. Bobby Portis and him can kind of switch through the 4-5 rim runs. Good pick for them. I think it fits them perfectly. 24 and 25 for the Knicks. It's always good in a draft when having backup picks. If one doesn't work, at least you got the next guy up. And you can kind of take two fits without worrying about the other guy being taken in between. So I do have Bob Carrington going off the board here. I do think Miles McBride is sort of a 2. I think he can play the 1. He kind of increased his role last year. I don't see Bob Carrington getting many minutes next year on this stacked team. I don't see... Oh, the next guy I pick, actually, I do see him getting a little bit of minutes, but I have Bob Carrington going here at 24. The 25th pick, I've got Terrence Shannon. Obviously, there was a lot of off-court stuff surrounding him. He's re-entered his name to the draft. Go have a watch of his highlights if you haven't already. This guy has superstar potential. One of the better scorers in the draft, if not the best scorer in the draft. That's a big call. And I think this is a great pick for New York. Love the fits here. Obviously, they're not going to be able to pay all these guys eventually. I think this guy can be a long-term piece for them. Love the pick here, Terrence Shannon. I was going to say play him at the G League maybe, but nah. We'll keep him there. Now, Wizards with the 26th pick. This is a controversial one. I haven't seen this guy taken in the first round in any mock draft I have watched, I don't think. And I've watched quite a few. So, Daron Holmes seems like the pick here for me, if I had to put my money on a pick, because this backup position here, they've obviously got Holmes and Bagley. I think Bagley's naturally a 4 because he was kind of getting bullied at the 5 at the end of last season. But I don't mind them getting Daron Holmes here. But in my opinion, I'd be looking at that one position saying if Tyus Jones leaves, Poole would kind of slot to the 1, I guess. But I'd be looking at a guy to come off the bench either way. That could be slightly better than Jared Butler. And for me, I'm going to scroll all the way down. Where's he at? Did I miss him? To 64th rank. That's disrespectful. To one of my favorite prospects, Trey Alexander. Love this pick for the Wizards. Don't think it's going to happen, but great stats at Creighton. Gives me Cade Cunningham vibes. Broad shoulders. Not going to talk too much about his appearance, but I love the build. And I think this guy has great potential. And if he comes off the bench for them, plays decent minutes, eventually starts. Love Trey Alexander here at 26 for the Wizards. Point guard. They need guard depth. Tyus Jones could be on the move. Love this pick. Could slot in at the 1, honestly. Big fan of Trey Alexander. And I haven't seen this mock, so interesting pick. You know how the draft goes. Someone flies into the first round that you weren't expecting. I think this is the one for Wizards. And in my opinion, this is where I'd be going. Big fan of Trey Alexander. Been keeping an eye on him throughout his last year at Creighton. He is 21, so a little bit older. But I think that works. So I like the pick here. Trey Alexander. 27, Minnesota. This is where I have Daron Holmes landing. Obviously, they've got a little bit of big man depth. Not a fan of Kyle Anderson. Not a fan. I know he makes winning plays in some games, but in that last series, it was a tough watch. So I'm going to go get a backup 4 here. They've got Naz Reid. I guess he can play 4-5, but mainly the 5, I think. I mean, Daron Holmes can kind of switch here, so I've got them taking Daron Holmes. Love this pick for them. Has Timberwolf kind of written on him, I guess. Sort of a Timberwolf-looking player. 20 points per game, 8.5. That didn't really make sense, Timberwolf type of player, but I like this pick for Timberwolves. I think he fits right into the roster. I am taking team needs more in this draft, but that's kind of how I like to draft. Go after a player that's going to make your roster and get minutes, rather than take a player who eventually may not play. So I like this pick for Timberwolves. Adds a bit of depth, and I think he can make an impact straight away. Denver Nuggets, with the 28th pick, they're going to take a guy out of the NBL. There is still Johnny Furphy. I know it is 10 picks after, and we are an Australian channel. He might go 18th to the Magic like we've seen projected. He might go early in that, 6'7" shooter with athleticism. But I've got them taking Bobby Klintman here with the 28th pick. Love Bobby Klintman. Obviously, I got to watch most of his games last season. I think he is a winning player. I think he makes a great impact. Love the size. I think he can shoot. He can rim run. I think he does the right things. He can defend. And I think he's a Denver Nuggets type player. I think he's going to slot in perfectly. And this is why I have them taking him at 28. Denver, I don't know if I've seen Bobby Klintman to Denver much, but I think he's the right player here. Obviously, he spent a year in the pro season. I just think he's a bit more... I mean, Ryan Dunn arguably here, Jalen Tyson arguably here, but everyone else I don't see better than Bobby Klintman. So I'm going to take Bobby Klintman here with 28. Big fan of his game. 29th, Utah, they took Topic. I think they need to sort of fill the forward spot here, and they're going to take a guy that I'm a big fan of as well. Still not our guy, Johnny Furphy. I've got them taking Ryan Dunn. Arguably the best defender in this league. Had a bit of an iffy March Madness. I think they got bumped in the, can't remember what round, but don't think he played too great. Obviously these stats aren't great, but on-ball defense, the size is insane. You look at his highlights, this guy, he looks like he says 6'6", it looks like he's about 6'9". He's fast, he can dunk, he can defend, his shot's a little bit off, but I think that can be developed. And I like Ryan Dunn as a prospect here. Great defender, and I think that's something the Jazz need. 30, Boston Celtics. One thing the Boston Celtics love to do is shoot the ball. Bailey Scheinman's not a bad pick here, and I think they're going to maybe pick him. Jalen Tyson's not a bad pick here either. But I've got them taking one of the best shooters in the comp, Johnny Furphy. In the draft combine, sorry. Johnny Furphy, 6'7", athletic. They've kind of got a missing spot here at the 2. I'm just going to undo this real quick. Oh, I can't. Anyway, the Boston Celtics kind of have that missing spot at the 2. They've got Peyton Pritchard off the bench at the 2. They kind of got that Springer. They've got Sam Hauser, who's a 3. And I think Johnny Furphy can be the backup 2 there. Love that pick. Doesn't have to play straight away. Can come on. Get his feet wet in the summer league. I love that pick for Boston. I'm going to zoom out real quick and show you the full draft. This is how I've got the draft panning out. Obviously, there's going to be trades and stuff's going to move. I can see the Rockets trading the 3rd pick for like Mikal Bridges, and the Nets get their picks back. They take someone like Nikola Topic at 3, or not too sure who they'd take at 3. Maybe Stephen Castle. But this is kind of how I see it playing out if everyone keeps their picks. I might react to this in a year to see how I go. Our guy Johnny Furphy landing at 30. Bobby Klintman from the Cairns Taipans landing in at 28. Any other NBL players? Alex Sarr, obviously. Alex Sarr of the Perth Wildcats there at number 2. AJ Johnson's obviously in this draft. Ariel Hukporti's obviously in this draft. Mantis Rubstavicius is in this draft, who I rate. I think he should go in the 2nd round. And then there is Trenton Flowers, who I think is a pretty good prospect as well. Not sure if he plays a 1, 2, or 3 yet. Some teams might be behind him. He's out of Adelaide 36ers as well. He's in this draft, and there's a few Aussies in there as well. Like, I'm not sure if Lachlan Ulbrich has declared. I'm not sure if Alex Tui's declared, but he might put his name in and then just play Sydney Kings. But interesting draft. Keen. It's on Thursday morning. This video should drop maybe Tuesday night. I'm recording it on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday in the morning. Let me know who you think is going to drop the furthest in the draft. Obviously, I had Jacoby Walter going from 12 to 21. I had our guy Furphy dropping from around 16, 18 to 30 to Boston. Let me know who you guys have falling the furthest on draft night. Keen to hear how you guys think and what you guys are thinking. Drop that in the comments. Make sure you guys are following us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube. We're going to be posting clips of this and the audio on Spotify as well. So make sure you guys follow along, and I'll catch you on the next video.